What is Presentgevity and why this podcast exists? Welcome to the Presentgevity Live Fully Podcast. I'm Michael Smith, and this is a space devoted to a simple but radical idea that the quality of your life and the length of it are shaped most powerfully right now, in this present moment, not someday, not after you fix everything, not after you retire, optimize, biohack, or escape your life. Now, just now. This podcast is about how presence, connection, love, and the whole human experience, the beingness of being human and living, become the deepest form of longevity medicine. The Harvard longevity study shows that with love and connection in your life, there's a 50% decrease in all-cause mortality, increase in immune function, decrease in blood pressure, increase in heart rate variability, and the list goes on and on. But very few people in the longevity biohacking space are doing anything about adding this dimension into their stack. And I don't know if it is actually something that you add into a stack. It's more something that you be. I'm not saying that I have perfected by any means what it means to be fully present in every moment, but it's an art and a practice that doing together as a community of practice will help us all to deepen our connection to the present moment. The word longevity usually makes us think about the future. More years, more time, more avoidance of death, even a fear of death. But I've come to see something very different. Longevity isn't built in the future, it's built in the present. And what you do now, what I do now, determines everything about how my future is going to be. And so really the practice of longevity, and the word longevity actually was first used in the 60s. They used to call it pro-longevity, that you're pro or for longevity life. And so the word presentgevity, it's a made-up word, I made it up, is a life that's centered in the present. And it's really about living your life here and now. It's built in how we breathe, how we love, how we sleep, how we eat, how we grieve, how we forgive, how we tell the truth, how we show up in our bodies and in our lives. That understanding is what gave birth to presentgevity. Present and gevity, living long by living fully now. If you combine present and longevity, it's really, though, more than just longevity, because even with a short life, if you have a terminal condition or you're involved in an accident and you've been doing everything right and your life is cut short, to live it fully now is what this practice is about, so that no matter whether you have a short life or a long life, you have a full life. And that, well, the Dead Poet Society comes to mind, that we drink from the marrow of the bones of what life has to offer, that we live it all, experience it all. And it's not about living for the moment, it's about living in the moment. And we'll be touching on that in future episodes, the difference between what it means to eat, drink, and be merry and live for the moment versus to be present and to live in the moment. This podcast exists because I believe we've been taught the wrong orientation to health and life, one that treats the body like a machine, emotions like a nuisance, and love like a side topic. Here we're bringing it all back together. I didn't arrive at presentgevity through theory. I've arrived at it through loss. 5 years ago, my brother Rick died. I'll be talking more about his story and how it's impacted my life. Grief does something profound. It strips away the illusions, the pretenses. It makes the future feel uncertain, and it forces one honest question. am I really living? Not succeeding, not surviving, not performing, living. Rick's death cracked me open, and in that opening, something unexpected happened. I began to feel, not just think, but feel that love, gratitude, and presence weren't just emotional experiences. They are biological forces. They changed my nervous system. They changed my sleep. They changed my heart. They changed my health. And over time, I didn't just feel better. I became measurably healthier. Healthier than almost anyone my age. Not through hacks, but through alignment. And here's the core idea of what I want you to hear and to hear clearly is that your body is listening to how you live your life. Your heart listens to how safe you feel. Your immune system listens to whether you feel loved or threatened. Your nervous system listens to whether you live in gratitude or chronic urgency or even greed. We live in what I call a cardiocentric universe. My cardiologist actually first introduced me to this term, that our whole world and universe revolves around your heart. Heart disease is the number one killer of men and women worldwide. And very few people have any idea of what the heart's function and purpose is. And we'll be diving deep into what the heart is and isn't. And it's many things, but I'll tell you this, it's much more than just a pump. And just because the heart pumps blood and because the heart is the bridge between biology and meaning, that presence slows down inflammation. Love improves heart-brain coherence. Gratitude stabilizes the nervous system, and belonging extends life. And this isn't poetry. It's neurobioimmunology and physiology. And Presentgevity, it's the practice of living in ways that signal safety, love, and purpose to the body in every single cell and every single day. So let me be clear about what this podcast is not. This is not a fear-based health advice, biohacking obsessions. It's not medical diagnosis or treatments, and it's not a hustle culture wrapped in wellness language. I've even heard of people, we've all heard of executive burnout. Well, people are starting to have wellness burnout and biohacking and longevity burnout. That, my friends, is not living. This is whole human optimization and realization that we are whole and complete as we are. Oh, we might have things we can improve, but we're already perfect just the way we are. We start with the heart and we go to the gut, and from there to the mind, the body, and soul, and the integration of these 5 aspects, which is 2 more than the body, mind, and soul, the traditional integrative medicine looks at. And we're also going to be touching on practical spirituality grounded in science and lived wisdom. We'll talk about love as a regenerative force, sleep as sacred medicine, the nervous system and safety, gratitude as training, not platitude, aging without losing aliveness, the holy body, not the broken one. So this podcast is for you if you've succeeded outwardly but feel something's missing inwardly, or you care about health but don't want to live in fear of dis-ease. You feel called to live deeper, not just longer. You want your life to feel meaningful now, not someday later. You don't need to believe in anything spiritual. You don't need to reject medicine. You don't need to change who you are. You just need to be open. And each episode, you can expect simple truths, deep presence, science without fear, spirituality without dogma, practices you can actually live. Some episodes will be short reflections, some will be deeper teachings, some will be conversations, but all of them are here for one reason: to help you and me receive more life in the life we already have. So I'll leave you with this. Longevity is about outrunning death. Don't die. It's about meeting life. Presentgevity is about being you. You are the the gift in this moment, the only one that can be you. And presence is the doorway, and we'll talk about the 2 doorways to being present. If this resonates, I invite you to stay with me, share this episode with someone you love, and most of all, pause today, breathe, feel your body, feel your heart, because the future of your health is listening to this moment. Welcome to the Presentgevity Live Fully Podcast. If this episode spoke to you, follow the podcast and join me for the next conversation where we'll explore love as a biological technology for a long life. Thank you.